Representative Issa.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for being here long enough for me to get done with my other hearing. I'm going to throw some numbers out here quick. Broadcom, $10.5 billion. Texas Instrument, $3 billion. Micron, $3.5 billion. NVIDIA, $17 billion, 13% market share. AMD, $6.2 billion, 24% market share. Qualcomm, in my district, $25.7 billion, 66%. And Intel, 29%, or $15 billion. That's the percent of that these U.S. companies have in sales currently to China. Those numbers ring pretty true to you?
I'll take your word for it, sir.
Okay, so is it fair to say, no matter what we might want to do, that we have a problem here, which is we are addicted to selling to China, just as we are addicted to buying from China? Is that sort of, using the addiction word, pretty fair?
It's a better use than the fantasy that will make China addicted to our things.
Okay, and I want to follow up exactly on that point, because I think you're exactly right. China wants one of everything we have, and notwithstanding Dr. McCormick, having been a manufacturer and a patent holder, I can tell you that I have the same product, but cheaper, is why you do enforce your patents often, is that even if they're copying and stealing your market share and dramatically undercutting you so you never get the volume on your innovation, you never pay for your innovation. So we have twofold. Clearly, Qualcomm cannot give up 2/3 of its sales today, particularly when those sales end up in Android products around the world that, if they were substituted, would effectively mean that they'd only be selling a fraction of that, and only for the U.S. market. So I want to follow up with one concept for this committee. During the Cold War, we decoupled from the Soviet Union. Midway through the Cold War, when Henry Kissinger, very rightfully so, saw an opportunity to create a wedge between China and Russia, we created an opening into China. That opening was, in fact, to deny, to a great extent, the Soviet Union that relationship where us versus them was the two of them. It's clear that they've reunited, but we have not decoupled effectively from China or Russia. Russia continues to supply a vast amount of non-AI products, mostly oil and so on. But China is both their crutch and our dependency. So is it fair to say, at the conclusion of this, that if we're going to win in AI, we have to wean ourselves off of dependency, decouple, while in fact continuing to push forward, that we have to do both if we're going to win the AI battle?
I agree with the sentiment, yeah.
So if I could put it in the simplest terms, one that even a publicly educated kid like me would understand, we are back into a Reagan us or them time. The us is the free world, and the them is best known for China and Russia and their immediate allies. And that in an us or them world, as Ronald Reagan, when asked about what his strategy was, said, we win, they lose. Is that really where we are again? Exactly where Reagan inherited the Cold War, that we have to, in fact, win this by decoupling and by causing the rest of the free world to also decouple?
I think China is already decoupling rapidly from us, much faster than we've been able to from them.
And I'll follow up with that. Mm-hmm. If they decouple before we decouple, will they in fact have leverage with us that we cannot overcome?
That's their explicit strategy, what you just laid out.
Okay, in the 36 seconds left, if we do not provide the energy necessary to have our AI be ahead of their AI, if we do not ensure that the fabrication capability and the other technologies are invested in, do we lose that us or them advantage, one in which China then has the opportunity to deny us the ever getting back to a lead?
That is a very real and substantial risk.
And I think, Mr. Chairman, you have made this the most important hearing, not just of the day or the week, but perhaps of this Congress, because it does give us an opportunity to understand exactly what we're dealing with. And I want to thank you for holding it and yield back.